Hey, everybody. Happy New Year and welcome to our Counterpoise podcast. Just to start, before we go ahead and do our introductions like we normally do, we do want to let you know coming very, very, very soon, we're going to have some new changes, which may include a new date. We may stop going live right here on Facebook, but we still will be posting our podcast on Facebook along with posting it on YouTube. So we just wanted to go ahead and make you aware of that, but those details will be coming soon. So let's jump right into it. Again, Happy New Year and happy holidays. Welcome to our Counterpoise podcast. Happy 22. I am one of your co-hosts. I am Samantha Adams, and I'm joined by my other two co-hosts who are going to introduce themselves.
Hi, everybody. My name is Malik Foster. I'm a co-host for the Counterpoise podcast.
Hello, everyone. My name is Everett Stevenson. I am as well one of our co-hosts of the Counterpoise podcast today. And we have a lovely show on deck today that we're going to get ready to show you guys. But before we do that today, I'm going to promote one of our Black businesses of the month of this year. It is a candle brand that, it is a candle brand, fragrance brand rather, that is based out of Michigan. Their name is 12th and 5th. If you guys give me 1 second, I'm going to go ahead and pull that up here momentarily. Can you guys see my screen? Hello?
Yep, we can see it.
We can see it.
Okay, so this is the page 12th and 5th. 12th and Viv, 12th, like as in 12 and then TH and Viv.com. They do a lot of skincare fragrances, candles, hymns and hers, a little bit about the company, and they're based out of Michigan. So, Black owned business, nice little fragrance where you guys can come in and check out some of their products. They have really unique names. I'll go to some of their best sellers here momentarily. You have some soaps as well in there. I said some of the candles, body creams and oils, as well as some lip gloss as well for the ladies and things. So there's a lot of different stuff that they have on their site, 12th and Viv, for skincare and as well as some home decor. I think they also sell little jewelry items as well for ladies. Give me just 1 second. I'll see if I can get to that section here. But yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and show this brand. Oh, here they are. Some like little cute little rings, little things that you can attach to stackable rings to add a little flair to your look. So 12th and Viv, that's our Black business of the week, or excuse me, of the month. Month. But we definitely want to go ahead and promote that. And today we're going to go ahead and jump right into the today's subject. Within the last couple of weeks, we've been seeing a lot of things that's been going on in the sports world. In particular, if anyone's been watching, one, as we saw the Antonio Brown situation that's been transpiring, and then also we saw that Kyrie came back to the NBA, and so we wanted to discuss that as well as some of the changes that's been going on within the NCAA with you guys to talk about professional power and how athletes today have been utilizing their power and wielding it as they within their sports as players. Which is something that we normally haven't been able to really see for a while. So we're going to go ahead and jump into it. I think one of our first topics, I know Malik more a little more versed on this, and he may be able to top it off with us with the NCAA and the NIL rules.
Yes, thanks. So with the name, image, and likeness rule legislation handed down, the Supreme Court did a unanimous decision 9-0, voting in favor of the name, image, and likeness rule, which means that college athletes can get paid off their name, image, likeness, and reputation. So a lot of these coaches, college coaches, collegiate coaches, are disapproving of a lot of things that are currently going on. And so a lot of student athletes, they are actually transferring to different schools to where the rules benefit them, because the NCAA, they instituted a rule that it could be on a school by school basis and a state by state basis. So every school and state have different set of rules for the NIL, name, image, and likeness, in terms of how the students will be getting paid. So I want to just show y'all a brief article here. And this is with the former coach of Cam Newton that won the championship at Auburn. He was complaining about the NIL system itself here. So I just wanted to show you guys this. So basically here he's complaining about the name, image, and likeness rule. He made a tweet that, that the offensive lineman at I believe the University of Texas, they'll be getting $50,000 a year with the new rule, as well as a $200 plus education. So they feel like they're getting so much value, and that other Americans are struggling to feed their jobs, and et cetera, et cetera. But these schools like Texas and USC, they make billions and billions of dollars off of these students, right? And these students are just taking advantage of these rules as well. There's another article that I have here as well that discuss basically, is it cheating, right? These coaches are really upset. Like, they're very, very upset. Hopefully y'all guys can see that. It's by CBS. They're basically arguing, will it actually increase or decrease the cheating? So some of the coaches are saying, oh, these athletes are getting paid now. They can hire representation nowadays. The coaches are upset. In this article, they're talking about how they're upset about they're not getting any voice in the deal. So a lot of the head coaches can provide the young athletes guidance and stuff like that. And also, they're talking about how only like 15 to 20 of the athletes may even potentially go pro for basketball, for example. So they're being fed a lot of lies and promises based off this money, even though there's only going to be 15 to 20 athletes that possibly will go pro. And they're also saying this is legal cheating now. So basically, a lot of the students will just go to places that will benefit them financially. So the schools that can offer the best package will always win, essentially. So they'll always get the best recruits. But that's not necessarily the case. I think it's just giving more power to the athletes. And they're really upset about the whole transfer portal, how every year there's just such a high turnover now, where athletes are just going where they can, make the most profit, get their reputation up the best, and achieve the best financial capabilities. I don't see what's wrong with that. They're conducting themselves like it's a business, and as they should. So what are your guys' thoughts about that?
Before I get my thought, I just want you to kind of clarify how they feel like it's cheating. Like, what are they cheating? Are they cheating the system? Are they cheating because they're taking plays from one school to another? Like, what do you mean by it's cheating?
I mean by it's cheating. So basically, in the article, the CBS article, the coach made the example, it's cheating because I could just hire this guy from FedEx to just, give them a sponsorship worth $1 million, these kids worth millions of dollars, and I could get the best recruits. So that's the way they feel like it's cheating, legal cheating. But I wouldn't classify it as cheating. I would just classify it as, sponsorships. Like when you become a professional, you can get a sponsorship from FedEx or from any other of these
Absolutely. And I think that what we're really looking at sometimes in that regard is that we may see a shift in the endowments that's going towards booster programs, and it may go towards sponsorships for student athletes. You know, essentially, I think that's what we may be looking at, because instead of a donor maybe saying, hey, I'm going to go ahead and donate to a certain school, which, and then, like we said, that's another topic. I ain't gonna go there, but people are always donate money to schools. But I think that at the same time, instead of somebody maybe donating some money to a school in particular, what they may do is, offer, like you said, a program. If we know Nike has a really good relationship with the school and the University of Oregon, so they may offer something to send their players so that they can have instead of maybe Phil Knight donating to the University of Oregon, he may make something so that Oregon has a program kind of similar to, like you said, with the offensive linemen in Texas, where they just offer all of their O linemen or offer all of their basketball players or track stars or whatever else it is, certain types of incentives so that the best track star wants to go at Oregon because he believes that Oregon's track is what he wants to support and make the greatest. I think it makes it for competition because when you look at it, like you said, to Mick's point, this gives the power to the players. Players are able to say, I can go for some money now, or maybe I can go build up a program like we've seen with the recruit that just went to Jackson State. Or you can see another person sit there and take the time and say, you know what, I also could, leverage and, go to a place where maybe I can help my family out, you know what I'm saying, and receive benefits in that route, or go to a school that maybe has a bigger platform. And my goal could be to go for a one and done type of situation, get my money, get on a platform like a Duke University normally has been known to be, or, sometimes it used to be like a North Carolina where guys can kind of come in, get a good education, or get a good look. Kentucky, is another school where guys are just kind of coming in, play that year, that season, and then they'll go to the league. So athletes now have a range of different things, different options, and I think that may upset some individuals, but it's good for the people, for the student athletes, and to the point of someone maybe having a misillusion that they're getting paid now, but it doesn't mean that they're going to always make it to the league. Who cares? If they get the opportunity to get something while you're getting your education, that's a beauty. You can help your family right now today. You can help yourself right now today. You can maybe establish some things that can help you further down the line. You know what I'm saying? With the money that you're getting. So even if you don't make it to the league, at least you have a little more of a foundation based off of the contributions that you made to the university while you were there and you received your education. Because again, people don't just get these scholarships and you get your education automatically. You still got to earn your scholarship each year. You know what I'm saying? You're not guaranteed to keep it. So if someone comes in, a new recruit, and you're not doing your job and you're not able, your education is over. And so then what?
So, variety is the spice of life, right? And we're all blessed with the ability to be able to make choices. The three of us all went to college and we all went to law school, right? And one thing I know is 1% of Black people go to college. Majority of athletes that play at that level are Black, right? And so when you think about that and you think about how expensive school is, everybody doesn't come in on a scholarship. There are people that do, and yes, they may be getting that kind of a benefit because college athletes absolutely get benefits from being athletes, especially when they're playing at a higher level. But they're the ones that are out there putting their bodies on the line, right? Although, we can make that argument like, oh, but they're not in the pros, but they are still in school, and school's expensive. And so even if you have a scholarship, you still got to eat, right? If you have the ability to make money, because, a lot of those athletes, they can't even get a job because they're being an athlete, right? So if they're able to utilize their name and likeness and image in order to be able to make money so that they can, A, maybe stay out of debt, B, like you said, help their families, help support their families, because, some of these kids, they come from underprivileged backgrounds, right? Or where their families don't have a lot of money. And so I get what the coach is saying, but I believe that he's thinking about it in a vacuum, right? Like, yeah, you might say that it's kind of cheating the system, but is it? Because you get to use your own, you're using your own image. If somebody wants to pay me a bunch of money to use my face, as long as it's not in a way that I don't disagree with, pay me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take it, especially when you're talking about a young college kid. And not only that, it also gives them the ability to try to learn about money early. You know, a lot of these people that go into the league, whatever league, it doesn't have to be the NBA, it doesn't have to be the NFL, it could be the MLB, it could be the NHL even, right? Whatever league it is.
Hey, let's be honest with this too, though, Sam. I just want to say that too, because a lot of times we talk about athletes, but it's a lot of people that work day-to-day jobs and don't know how to manage money. You feel what I'm saying? So forget having a big lump sum. You know what I mean? Because if you can't handle, you know what I mean? If you can't manage $10, you can't manage $1,000. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So, and so when you're talking about these athletes, a lot of them go in to the profession, go from college to the professional level. They have no idea what they're doing with their money and they end up broke. Like, look at Delonte West. Aside from the fact that he's got some serious mental health issues, he's a franchise player damn near, right? Playing for the Cavs at a high level. I think he also played for the Celtics. He played for all of these teams and he was doing his thing. Although his mental health got in the way, that man don't have anything, right? So, you know, he's like an example. He's a little bit of an exception because of his mental health problems, but the financial aspects of what happened to him happened to a lot of people. Like Shaq, I think I heard one time, he was talking about when he made his first $1 million, he blew it in a matter of hours, right? Like going shopping, blowing it on all this frivolous stuff. It's one of the reasons why Rock Nation has the department for athletes, because they try to teach the financial wellness and how to properly invest in and take care of your money, right? So if you get that at a younger age, even if it is only 20, 30 people that go into the league, those 20, 30 people are going to be able to properly manage their money. And that way they'll be able to be in a better position to not just take care of their families, but they're also going to be able to create generational wealth. And I think thinking about it from that place, you know, saying that it's cheating the system and coaches don't like it, I think in part coaches don't like it because it takes away their ability to have certain say so. If a player wants you to participate in what it is that they're doing, they should include you in that. But you are not in any way entitled to have to be a part of that choice. Those choices are theirs, because just like you're there helping them or coaching them throughout the way, you're looking for accolades. If they choose to go somewhere else to get the help and stuff that they need, let them. Right? Because if it serves them the best way that it serves them, allow them to go where they need to be fed. It's not about you making money and getting your accolades and all of this and that. I think
that's
that
why I
that's
wanted to push back a little bit. I'm sorry, Sam. In regards to Malik's point, I think that's why we're seeing such disapproval, actually, in support of what you were just saying, rather. I think that's why we're seeing such disapproval, is because before it was like, okay, hey, I have this blue chip program. The best way that you're going to get to the money is to maybe come to one of my universities where we normally to get first round draft picks every year. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like a kind of like your path to riches. Versus now you have a gateway of opportunities to make money. You can make them at any different school, you know, different opportunities that may go through. Like you said, different schools might have different packaging that they use to market to different athletes so that they can ensure that they have, you know, certain type of athletes that they want to have there. It loses the lust that the coaches have of having like that stronghold of saying, hey, I'm coach X, Y, and Z. I don't want to call nobody out or whatever, but I'm coach such and such, and they come in, they sit in your desk, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I got that school, I got that school. Whereas now it's like you said, guys can go anywhere and they can say, okay, well, listen, coach such and such is over here. He has a relationship with this, and this people. You know, you see it with Memphis and with Anthony Hardaway, and he was able to go get some young guys to come there. You see it with Dion. He's getting guys that's being able to go there. Where you see other coaches who maybe be at universities that did not traditionally have strongholds as far as being blue chip universities, but but they're able to use their approval to get guys, and that's opening up that playing field versus just having a guy go to the Alabamas or the Georgias or the LSU's at one point of the game. So I think that's why some of the coaches may be disapproving, because they can't hide behind that school any longer. They now have to have a more competitive package that they're offering guys in order for them to come. And with that type of change comes
to keep them.
Well, the thing is, like, the coaches and administration can't get too involved in the name and guidance for the students, right? So a lot of these students can hire outside representation to further assist them, and it turns the system into a more professional system where you can hire a representative to help guide you on, like, oh, okay, I like this package for you. You can get this much in terms of compensation, and name it under the NIL rules, and this would be the best decision for you. So go ahead, you should transfer to this school instead of stay at this school, because you're a good player, but there's another player that's ahead of you. So just go ahead and leave instead of like stay there, and then you get your year or two to shine, and then that's it. So a lot of players are just entering that transfer portal and getting out of there and going to a place where the opportunity, the compensation is better, the opportunity is better. So just like the coach was saying, like, these offensive linemen are getting compensated $50,000 a year. The tuition is $200,000 a year. So average American struggling to make $50,000 a year with debt and stuff like that. So that's one of the positions that the coach is making. Like, oh man, these athletes can just get these benefits and the free education. So you feel like, oh, it's not fair, but it was fair that they were getting. People were selling their jerseys and name, image, and likeness, and they weren't receiving any compensation for it. So that's not
right.
Fair. It's making the level more professional. Although they're not getting paid a salary from the school, they're still able to make money off of things that they do outside of the school.
But I'm also curious about kickbacks, right? Like, if students' jerseys were getting sold before, I don't know if coaches were receiving kickbacks. I'm not trying to say that they were, but what if they were, right? And now you've just taken that money out of their pocket, because now the student goes directly to the student. And it's like
definitely dependent upon the college athletes.
Right, but here's the other thing. Like, so what if they're making $50,000 and getting a free education? This is the land of opportunity. This is America. That's how that thing goes. You see what I'm saying? And so if you have the
make it more, but that's just the example.
Or can we go to this point too? It's a lot of administrators that may make more than $50,000 and can get a free education too. But
right.
Sleep.
But you know what I'm saying?
Because if you teach at the school, sometimes like that, you get a chance to get education. And I believe some schools used to have it where, depending on the type of position that you had, your children maybe can attend the school as well and receive a discount for education.
Yeah, legacy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a legacy. And the thing about it is, it's like, so what? Some of these kids, they're the first kid to ever go to college in their family, right? So what if they're getting $50,000 for their own talent? They're getting paid for their own talent. Yes, they're getting an education in the meantime, but so what if they're trying to get it paid? Like, if when I go to college, I'm smart. Okay, if it's an academic, let's look at it from a different place. If I have an academic scholarship, nobody's gonna complain that I go get a job where I'm making $50,000 while I'm in school. Nobody's gonna complain, right? Regardless if I have a full ride, nobody's complaining that I went and got a job. So why is it any different for an athlete to make money off of the things that they're doing, despite the fact that they're getting?
That school is losing. That's not in
they make
pockets.
Schools make enough money. I'm sorry.
Exactly, but it's money that they're losing. Recruits that they're losing. So it's
all right, okay. Ooh, you get $150,000 off of that one kid instead of 200, because you just lost that. So what? You're still making all that money. Like, the average person in America doesn't make $150,000 or $200,000, and then you're talking about for a whole team. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, however many people you have in there. Like, come on, y'all. They make enough money. It's just greed. That's what that is, in my eyes, anyway.
Yeah, I concur with that. I think they're just being a little greedy, and they're having a hard time adjusting to the new rules, because these guys are old school. They're used to a certain way of doing things, and now they can't just do things that they used to be successful. So they they're slow to adapt and change to what's going on in order to get these recruits and have the recruits stay. So that's another issue that's going on. So I think that they'll catch up eventually. It'll be a couple of years, or you'll see an influx of new, different, younger coaches that are able to adapt to the programs as they are now, like how everything is, the whole collegiate climate right now. So I think that leads us to our next topic that we want to discuss, and we want to discuss the Kyrie Irving situation. I know everybody knows what's going on with Kyrie, but for those who happen to not know, if you haven't been paying attention to the sports world or news too much, because even mainstream news is kind of monitoring this, because Kyrie Irving, he took a stance with the Brooklyn Nets that, he doesn't want to get vaccinated, and they shut him down, right? Until COVID started ramping back up. He wasn't allowed to play home or away games originally, but then they brought him back because COVID has wrecked the league, even though 90% is vaccinated, but 90% of the league got COVID. So it's like the vaccination didn't really combat COVID as well as they thought it would. So they brought Kyrie back. He played his first game against the Pacers on the road, and he's allowed to play.
He only allowed to play away games?
Yeah, he's only allowed to play away games, and the away games he can't play are in Toronto and New York and I want to say San Francisco.
California? Yeah, San Francisco.
Yeah, so those are the games he can't play in. Those are the the arenas he can't play in. So he can't play in Brooklyn, New York, and Toronto. So I think he might be actually eligible for the away game for San Francisco, which is
Brooklyn
weird.
is in New York, but you mean he can't play against the Giants?
Yeah, he can play with the Brooklyn Nets at home, the New York Knicks, and he can't play against.
Giants. Yeah.
The Toronto Raptors. Those three teams he can't play on the road, but every other road game he can't play. So what Kyrie is kind of hoping for, I think, is a changing of the rules, because I don't think he'll get vaccinated unless they successfully come out with the plant-based vaccine pill. I know they came out with a pill, but they're working on a plant-based vaccine one. That's what I've been hearing. So unless they come out with that, I don't think he'll do that. But the treatment of Kyrie is very interesting. I find that they did cave into him. He was able to be a part-time player. It's pretty funny that they kind of went back on that, but see, that goes to show the power of the athletes. Like, Kyrie's a superstar player. The Brooklyn Nets want to win a championship. They've been up and down this season. I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan, so trust me, I know they've been really up and down, more so down lately. And part of that was, they have three superstars. They have Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. And, you got to cater to them. I know they get a lot of perks by being with the Nets, and the Nets accommodate them very well. So that is a very interesting situation. But we wanted to kind of put out a hypothetical with you guys on about how would the league handle if LeBron James took the same stance as Kyrie. And I think, I don't know, they would have found a way to bend the rules even more for LeBron James, because quite frankly, the league doesn't really like Kyrie. It's like they hate Kyrie for a lot of stuff. Like he just tells you, I don't want to get vaccinated, I'll suffer the consequences. There's other players or even other athletes in different sports, like, for example, Aaron Rodgers. He lies about being immunized and all of this other stuff. And he gets a little bit of slander and flack, but not as much as Kyrie. And Kyrie just told people he was going to take a stance. He'll suffer whatever consequences come, even though, he was saying that he was promised other things and he wasn't delivered on it. Because I think, from my perspective, I think the Nets or, the NBA told him, like, there'll be some religious exemptions, so everybody won't have to take the vaccine. But once the mandates came out, the league just followed the New York City mandates. So that kind of nipped it in the bud. So I don't know unless Kyrie wants to go to court or not to combat it. That's one option. Because I heard that they're thinking about changing the rules a little bit to where the testing option. I know the Supreme Court's hearing about Biden's mandate, the federal government saying that they're overreaching, that their powers. So we'll see, because usually these mandates are left up to the states. So we'll see if that kind of changes. But if that changes, we'll keep you posted on that. But back to the LeBron James and Kyrie comparison, I think that the league would definitely have bended the rules for LeBron a little bit, found a way to get him on the court for both games, because you can't have the face of the league not playing because of the stance he took. And more people like LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, I think. A lot of people do hate LeBron James as a player, but I don't think they hate him as a person. With Kyrie, it's very personal.
Yeah, I think there's always been an issue, especially to even when Kyrie and LeBron played together for the Cavs, right?
Mhm.
There's always been like this love-hate relationship, A, between Kyrie and LeBron, and B, the way people felt about LeBron versus how they felt about Kyrie. Thing about Kyrie Irving is that he definitely stood his ground, and he didn't care what it was going to cost him. I mean, in some aspects, that's absolutely commendable, right? The thing that has always confused me about the vaccine mandates is the fact that they're required and it doesn't stop COVID. Like, you can still get COVID with the vaccine. And so, I get the fact that it helps protect you, right? And keep you from getting deathly ill. And it is likely to prevent death. It's not 100% guaranteed, because there's nothing else in this world that is 100% guaranteed besides death. And some say taxes, but some say taxes, but some people ask Donald Trump, he don't pay taxes. So, I think that, him taking a stance, I think that was an important thing that he did. And then, but the thing about it is the way that the league had to cave, because like I said, you can't stop COVID. Then you're opening arenas to people who lie about whether or not they are in fact infected or not, which then in turn spreads COVID, right? And then you have, puts people at risk. So, I mean, if somebody makes a choice to put themselves at risk, I think that on, one hand is their choice, that's their business. But I get why the league does it. It's kind of like how they have like the regulation, you're not really supposed to do things that could hurt you, like ride motorcycles. And I think Ben Roethlisberger, a number of years ago got into like a motorcycle accident or something like that. I think it was him, could have been another football player, a while ago. And
yeah,
he like got suspended for like a couple of games, and then he was back at it. But with Kyrie, because he didn't want to get injected with the vaccine, they chose to sit him down for longer than just a couple of games. You know what I'm saying? And I think that if it was LeBron, we'd be having a different conversation right now.
Well, I wanted to add into that too, though. We do know that, the state of New York had that mandate that, like, what I'm saying, in order to work, you had to, or in order to be in public places, like, entertainment venues and stuff like that, people were going to have to show indoors, I believe, that they had to show like a vaccination status. Like, I think it was even to like eat at restaurants or something like that. Like, they were requiring people to show it. So,
Yeah, New York rules is so much.
it was like super crazy. So I know that was one of the things.
A lot of people died in New York. Yeah.
And I think, but to the point that you made too, and I think that this is one of the things that we definitely need to implicate, is the fact that, Kyrie used his voice. And first off, let me add on to this. This is a little bit off the subject, but I just feel like it has to be said this week in particular, because I've seen a lot of funny stuff, and it's talking about using our voice, especially using your voice as a Black man. And I'm going to get right back to the subject, but I just been seeing a lot of funny stuff on the internet where a lot of guys, using their voice to negatively promote, Black women and things within our community. I think that's so suckerish. Like, I think it's horrible. How could you ever talk down about your people? And I think that's lame. And I just wanted to get that on the record real quick from Counterpoise, because we do not play that. And we did discuss possibly having a conversation on that, so maybe come back on it. But just want to get it on there while I was hot and ready this week, because I've been seeing a lot of it. But to Kyrie using his voice as well, I wanted to say that we've seen someone who had a lot to lose. You know, I don't know. Some people was counting his money, but some in the millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? That he would lose from the time that he was away. But him standing on something that he firmly believed,
I
and I
think he
think that
lost 17 million.
yeah, I mean yeah, like I said, I'm not
He
counting.
didn't
I'm
lose as much as
sure,
Ben Simmons though.
I'm sure someone's counting. But the thing is
He's still getting
you know,
paid. Don't get me wrong, but
Right.
just not the full amount.
It's not like Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons lost bread, but he ain't standing on nothing other than he don't want to be there.
Because they sat him down. It's not like he couldn't.
right, he's standing on. I don't want to go to work.
It's not like he's not refusing to
But
go
I
to
mean,
work.
but I mean, but I mean,
It's
again,
where
I
they're
think that.
allowing him to go to work.
But I
Ben
think that at the same
Simmons
time, yeah, Kyrie is not choosing not to go to work, which that's another stance for another day. Like we could talk about that. That Ben Simmons is on that great resignation type tip. But again, we going back to where we are real quick. Even though he ain't resigned, But to Kyrie's thing, again, you know, it's super big because again, we see somebody in the limelight in their prime, you know what I'm saying, kind of take that stance. We've seen Ali do it, we've seen Kaepernick do it, we're seeing Kyrie do it in our generation as well. So we've seen two athletes do it sometime within our generation, which is, you know, again, kudos to them for standing up for what they believe. But also think it's super big for us to note again that the NBA caved, like you, or you know what I'm saying, and I don't necessarily know if I want to use the term cave, but they at least honored his wishes. And I think on that point, you know what I'm saying, that's something to show. It's something to show that if you believe in something strong enough and you stand on something, that people will move around to the way. If you know what I'm saying, one, you have a tremendous talent. You know what I'm saying? Something that is very unique. And two, circumstances demand that they need to. You know what I'm saying? Because there's been a lot of talented people who didn't get their opportunity. But as we see, they can't, you know what I'm saying, keep control of everything. We see people going into protocol so long. I think it was one time a team only had like about 6 or 7 players that they had to play with at one point for a game. So, you know, COVID is really breaking the leagues in the country, in the world about. So I think like when we see those type of aspects go in and we see someone stand on his principles and on theory, you know what I'm saying, a good logic, we'll see the NBA kind of cave to that logic and not go through the mandates that they felt like they needed to, just because they wanted to take a hard nosed stance of if you can't be with us all the way, you can't be with us at all. And now we see that there's willing to say, okay, well, we realize, you know, that was too hard of a stance because even if there's people that are with us all the way, they're still not able to be with us. So we need to really realize, is there something that's preventing you from actually being a part of this? And if there isn't, then we should make that adjustment. But
Yeah,
to the
compromise.
yeah, willing to compromise, pardon me. But to the point about, you know, the difference in the treatments between Kyrie and LeBron, I definitely think that when we look at the two, like, you know, like we said, these two are two different superstars. And that sometimes I think when you're the face of, you know, a franchise and let alone the whole league, you know what I mean? It comes with a different level of responsibility. And I think that's why we don't necessarily see LeBron take a stance that's something like the saying, like, you know, hey, this isn't what we're gonna do. You know what I mean? Because again, that would
I mean,
be
he did though, because remember he came back and was like, "I'm vaccinated. Everybody should get vaccinated." And it's like,
right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that he said that this is something that I won't do. Like, I won't get vaccinated because that's not the popular opinion. You know what I'm saying? That's not necessarily what society would like to see. That's not necessarily what society would like to see um from majority of people, let alone, you know what I'm saying, athletes. So for him to take a stance and make a statement like that would be very contrary to, you know, what the league would like to have the image be. So I definitely think that, you know, LeBron carries a little bit more of a different weight with them because of all of the factors that all of the things that, you know what I'm saying, goes with him and as he go. But nonetheless, I definitely feel like it's something that we had to factor in. And with that, I do want to talk about, since we're talking about, you know, athletes that have a tremendous skill set and their abilities to be recognized. We wanted to shift to the situation about AB and what was going on with him in Tampa Bay. So recently, if anyone wasn't aware of what happened, Antonio Brown, which was a wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, recently quit during a game and during that game, essentially, he threw his shoulder pads off on the side and, you know, amped up the crowd as he walked off as he walked off and left the game. Later on, it was rumored that he quit because he was asked to go back in the game after telling them that he was hurt and he was injured and he no longer felt that he was able to play. A little bit after that, the coaches came out stating after the game that he did not know anything about Antonio Brown's injury. A little later, Antonio released text messages stating that he notified the coach earlier in the week about it and that they were kind of aware, but he was going to try his best to perform. And then something else came out saying that I believe he was told that he was no longer going to be a Buck during that game, and that's why he ended up throwing his stuff off and quitting. So there's a lot of speculation that was going on along this situation, but I just want to kind of drop this down and I'll just give my little 2 cents on it. I definitely think that, and there was also rumors that, one of the reasons why he quit was that he was told he wasn't going to be able to go back in the game and that he had financial opportunities to make some bonuses close to like $1 million, extra $1 million if he hit some targets. But he was told that he wasn't going to go in the game and then he quit. So I don't know. There's a lot of speculation that was going along around this. I definitely think that this is another issue that we have to talk about, mental illness, because we do believe sometimes because of the way that Antonio responds in certain situations that there may be some mental illness that may be in place there. But also I think that we have to look at what he feels like is his story, because a lot of times people aren't able to tell their story. And because Antonio Brown was able to document some things and have screenshots, we are able to see some of the stuff to combat what the coaches have said and some of the conversations that was had. But lastly, I do want to add this last thing too, is just to know that the only reason we're really having this conversation is because Antonio Brown was such a great talent and that he was able to always be able to come back into the league even after he had, I think it was a fallout. What was his last team? It wasn't.
I think it was a domestic violence situation.
He had a fallout with the Steelers.
Was it the Raiders or where was he at?
Well, first it was Pittsburgh.
First it was Pittsburgh, but I think the last time it was with the Raiders.
But he also had that domestic violence situation. And
Yeah.
then he went to the Patriots with Tom Brady brought him to the Patriots, and then that didn't last.
Because of that, and then
right.
He had the whole fake vaccination card, and they they keep catering to this guy. I would say, I understand he can play ball, but at some point you got to say enough is enough. Like the diva, the drama. I mean, okay, even if he's right about this situation, they should have been done with him from the vaccination card. That's my stance. But as far as this situation goes,
but you can't be done with him if you're not done with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, exactly. So that's true. That's another thing. So if you're letting Aaron Rodgers get away with it, but the league knew he wasn't vaccinated, but he was just out here just promoting like he was. So, right. I mean, he was very misleading to the public. Let's put it like that.
One thing I wanted to say is the way that the NFL deals with things is very different from how the NBA deals with things. It's almost like you're looking at a Democrat versus a Republican. Like I feel like the stance on a lot of matters, the way that the NFL handles things is more like that of a conservative, and the way that the NBA handles things is more like a liberal, right?
Doesn't even have any black owners, so that doesn't.
They don't, but I'm just saying, as it relates to how they go about dealing with issues, right? When you look at the fake card business, you had 2 players in the league. You couldn't punish one and not the other, right? But at the same time, if that had happened in the NBA, it'd have been a done deal. You could forget it. They wouldn't even let Kyrie play. And he said, I'm not getting the shot. He wasn't, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't lying about it and all that other stuff. Whereas here in the NFL,
lives and all this other stuff.
Right. Whereas here in the NFL, you got 2 people that are like, yeah, I got a fake card. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but the thing I wanted to say to Everett's point about Antonio Brown is, he's an amazing talent. And it's one of the reasons why Tom Brady continued to vouch for him. He vouched for him with the Patriots, and then he vouched for him with the Bucks. Problem is, the way that he was treated with the Bucks has put a strain on his relationship with Tom Brady. In part, Tom Brady may have played a role. We don't know. We just know what AB said, because he was on a
Yeah,
podcast
it's
the other day.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, Antonio Brown was on a podcast the other day where he was talking about, his status as a player. Like, they treat him like he's just like he just is like a free agent almost, whereas they treat somebody like Gronk differently. You know what I'm saying? And so, and I get it. I can understand his frustration as it relates to that. Just like as it relates to this situation. Once, the Buccaneers coach came out, made a statement, and was just made it seem one way. But then Antonio Brown came out with receipts. Like, you knew. Here's a text messages showing you that I told you. You knew because the medical with the Bucks was working with me. The trainers and all that was working with me with regards to my ankle. You guys were doping me up and having me go out there and play on this jacked up ankle that's like got fragments and it's broken. I'm in pain. You want me to go run out there? I'm going to do my best, but I mean, I still got to live with my ankle when the game is done. So then he had an appointment to go have like surgery and all this other kind of stuff. Coach knew it. The minute he's like, I'm in agony, coach is like, you're fired. So that's what caused him to take his stuff off and leave. And the coach he came back after Antonio Brown, gave receipts. Yeah, he did this. But the thing about it is after Antonio Brown showed the receipts from the text message, now the coach has to make a statement. He pretty much made a statement, almost confirming it, but he tried to put his own little twist on it. And I think that it's unfortunate that it played out that way. And number one, because I think that the coach probably was just tired of Antonio Brown from the gate. And that was just like the last straw for him, even though he may not ever say that. Pardon me, I might hear my dog in the background. The other thing is that even if he quit, that's fine, or was fired, whatever, the way he went about it, I get why he went about it that way, but there's more than one way to skin a cat, as the adage goes. And he didn't have to like take his stuff off on the sidelines and go hype up the crowd hopping off the thing. He easily could have just waited for a timeout or.
But that's Antonio Brown, right?
It is a flair, right?
That's part of his persona.
And I also think that goes to the power of the athlete. We talk about it in good, but that's also in bad. I think, like we said, that goes to his flair. Like we talk about, when we talk about a wide receiver, there's a level of edginess to that. Just like the quarterback is known as the legend, the wide receivers are the ones. You got the Terrell Owens, popcorn, pom poms. You know what I mean? You got guys that's
bringing entertainment at the end of the day.
And the wide receiver is one of the most entertaining. Entertaining. They do all of the dances and stuff like that. You may see a running back do it, but it's mainly the wide receivers once they get in the end zone that they kind of show out and do all of the extras. And again, that's a big ups to Shad because he was one of the first people to kind of get that going like that as well in our modern era. So we definitely wanted to just give rank to that, but I just wanted to say that to you guys as we get ready to wrap the show up, and really just give one more shout out to the Black Business of the Week, which again was 12th and Viv, and here's their website as well. Candles, a little pricing. There also are soy candles, so this does not have any of those toxics and things like that in it. So you guys can check them out at 12th and Viv. They also have, like I said, soaps and things of that nature this week. And and one more thing, I think we got the motivational minute real quickly. So I just wanted to say real fast in our motivational minutes for anyone who has a platform, because today we talked about it, whether in the forms of athletes, but I also think that we need to talk about this for professionals, period, because anytime that you have a job, you have a platform when you're on that job, and you may not have one that you can get out to the public with, but the way that you conduct yourself, that is that platform, people's observation of you. And I think it's important that we always be mindful of the messages that we're putting out there, whether it's one that's standing for something, as we seen with Kyrie, or if it's one in which you stand for, letting your attitude and your spunk go, and it's AB. Be mindful of how that's going to be perceived. Be mindful of, what I'm saying, the message that you want to come out, and just make sure that you're putting forward what you want others and what you will want to receive for yourself. So I just want to say that as our motivational minute for everyone. And then lastly, I just want to say you guys can catch us on Wednesdays at around 8:30 on Instagram Live. You also can catch us here on Instagram, or excuse me, on YouTube, that we're going to post this to here. We're on Facebook, but there may be changes to that soon. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. You can find me at that guy 2104. I'm also going to get ready to do I'm also going to get ready to have another Instagram for you guys as well as Facebook soon. So I'll drop that for us on this next week. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Let's have a great year this year. Everybody be safe.
Absolutely. Again, I'm one of the other co-hosts. My name is Samantha Adams. You can catch me on Facebook and on Instagram. It's on Facebook, it's Samantha ESQ Counterpoise. And there's a space in between that, Samantha ESQ Counterpoise. And then on Instagram, it's Samantha ESQ _Counterpoise on Instagram. But like Everett said, make sure you check in with us, engage with us, and all that good stuff on our What's Up Wednesday platform, to be shown at 8:30, around 8:30 on Instagram Live. We also post that to IGTV along with posting it to YouTube. And it's live, so we like to engage with you guys. If there are any topics that you'd like to hear us talk about, please don't hesitate to contact us. You can DM us, you can send a message to our Counterpoise page or to any of us individually. And also too, make sure you like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, and all of that. Join us on our YouTube page at Counterpoise Podcast. So again, like I said at the beginning of the show, and like Everett just said, this particular show, our Sunday show, the date and time may be changing in the very near future. We will keep you posted on to what those new details are, but please just make sure you keep an eye out for it. And again, yeah, happy New Year, happy holiday. And I hope that everything that you guys are hoping for and are manifesting comes to fruition in 2020.
Yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in. I'll be creating a new Counterpoise Instagram and page as well. So you guys will be following me there after this week. But if you want to follow my personal page, it's Malik M. Foster on all social media handles. And don't forget to send us a comment. If y'all want us to talk about different topics or anything like that, or you have any ideas, just let us know. Shoot us a DM, and we'll try to give it back to you and implement some of your ideas or answer some of your questions as well. So we appreciate the people who are tuning in, and shout out to the new people who are tuning in as well. And thank you. And again, let me take us out of here real quick.